Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the Russian Ukrainian war. And obviously, we were anticipating that the Russian Federation would strike back for the Kerch Strait bridge attack that occurred. I think we all are still trying to look at that attack on that bridge, and quite frankly, as I have seen the very limited amount of footage of the actual attack that took place, I know there's some indications that it could have been a truck bomb. As I look at the security footage that watches the bridge, to me it looks like a missile or a seaborne explosion took place, or it came from the north, and it impacted with the kind of the northeastern side of the bridge, and a very large explosion, which eventually caused the railway fuel containers that were being transported on the bridge to also catch fire. So, not 100% certain it was a truck bomb, and I can't say for certain if it was a missile strike or some sort of a vessel that struck the bridge. Hard to say at this point. But eventually we may know. We may never know. But ultimately, this led to this massive Russian attack over the past 24 hours. The Russians have targeted over 100 aim points inside of Ukraine. They have targeted the entire country, running from Lviv in the west to Kiev in the center north, and then all the way down in other areas as well, including Dnipro in this locale. The targets in Kiev. Well, we know the SBU headquarters was finally struck. It is estimated that up to 60 targets or 60 aim points in the Kiev region were struck by Russian cruise missiles, semi-ballistic missiles, Iskanders, or cruise missiles launched from Iskanders, Kh-101s, and or modified S-300 to attack ground targets. But the primary attacks that took place in Kiev, again, was the SBU headquarters. And I've talked a bit about the fact that the Russians have yet to strike the SBU headquarters or other sensitive possible command and control and leadership targets in Ukraine. And today, within the last 24 hours, at least it looks like they indeed have. We kind of zoom and we head south of Sofia Square. This is one of the aim points. This is the SBU headquarters here, a sprawling complex in this area. Additionally, energy targets were also hit. The Chip 5 facility just to the south bridge of Kiev was also struck. Let me find that here for you. Here's the south bridge, and here is the CHP5 facility. So this gives you an idea again. A energy facility that is necessary for power generation for the city and the surrounding areas of Kiev was also hit by Russian missiles. And again, as we watch this conflict, now hundreds of days, 228 plus days into this conflict, and we're finally starting to see some of the capabilities that the Russians have to inflict great harm to the Ukrainian state. I believe at this point we have really not seen the full weight and firepower of at least from the aspect of tactical air and strategic air assets that the Russian forces possess. And at least in Kiev, the Russians have been somewhat restrained in the targeting of command and control facilities and facilities that keep the power on in and around Kiev. So is this going to change the dynamic of the war, or was this a one-off and a warning to the Ukrainian state that any more such activity in which Russia considers Russia proper, i.e., the Kerch Strait Bridge or other targets inside of the Russian Federation, are off limits? And will the Ukrainians heed what this could be, in effect, a warning? Difficult to say. Hard to say if this is the first and last, what you would consider the Russian version of shock and awe, or are we going to see continued operations by Russian forces within the scope of this conflict? And I would have to anticipate that we would probably see further strikes. This conflict is not de-escalating. It is only growing worse week by week, month by month. And what concerns me is eventually this could draw in the possible NATO alliance or some sort of direct confrontation with the United States. Again, I still think we're a bit away from the use of a tactical nuclear weapon. I believe the Russians still have tools in their toolkit that they have not used as of yet. And I think what we've seen in the last 24 hours is just an example of the expansive tools that are in the Russian war toolkit that we have not really seen deployed as of yet. But again, we'll continue to watch what's happening, and obviously, just a quick rundown of some of the targets. So again, 60 were hit in Kiev, 20 targets were hit in the Kharkov region, 15 were hit in Lviv, and 15 were hit in Odessa, and a couple of other places as well. 47 targets were hit in Nikolaev. Among those targets hit, again, SBU headquarters, the CHP-5 facility in Kiev, again, power generation, CHP-6 facility in Kiev, the Lviv TPP facility, the Ivano-Fransk region TPP facility, the Department of Law Enforcement Agencies was also struck in Kiev as well. And as was, and this is interesting, the European Union advisory mission in Kiev was also struck by Russian cruise missiles. So that's what's happened for today. Again, not a lot of changes on the battlefield itself. It looks like, at least on the surface right now, the Ukrainian offensive on the western bank of the Dnieper River may have stalled. We do know that we've seen some vicious fighting over the course of the last several days, and it's quite possibly that both sides are just tuckered out at this point and are going to need to reinforce or reconstitute some of those forces. In the south central area, we continue to watch. East of Zaporizhia, there is a reported buildup of Ukrainian forces east of Zaporizhia that could be building up to threaten Mariupol or Berdyansk in this area here. And we're going to watch that very, very closely. And it continues to be a tit-for-tat battle around Severodonetsk, Lysychansk, both to the south and north of that locale as well. But again, we're going to continue to monitor, report, and bring you more content as it happens. Stay tuned. We will be doing our next video on the civil war in the former state of Ethiopia next. Have a good day. Bye-bye.